Welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events. I'm going to go over what I'm talking about on Monday with our next significant storm system heading our way. You're looking at 500 millibars, about 20,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And this is where you see the troughs, you see the ridges, you see the troughs. You see there's a very strong area of low pressure aloft right here over northern New Mexico. Now, the reason why I'm kind of really, you notice that all of a sudden this has just piqued my interest earlier this week, was Sunday and Monday, I really started noticing this. It was because it was about 3 years ago, almost to the day, that we had a similar setup where the Arctic oscillation, which has a negative and a positive phase, and it's been in the positive, which typically, when it's in the positive, that's not conducive to, well, I'm sorry about that. It's not conducive to sending cold air. Let me back this up a little bit. It's not conducive to sending cold air here into the lower 48. It keeps it all bottled up into Canada. When it goes into its negative phase, usually it has a tendency to send cold air down and it affects areas south and east of the Rocky Mountains. We're in the positive phase. So really one of the only ways to get any type of snow is with a very strong area of low pressure aloft, and it has to track just right, and it has to come in, or it doesn't have to, but it helps if it comes in at night when the temperatures are the coolest. And we have one of those that looks very strong, especially in the modeling. When you're talking about something that's 6 days away, the modeling, you can see it out here in northern New Mexico, really picking up on this. And this happened and gave a surprise 1 or 2 inch snow. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but it's just one of those things where I like, the blog, this is the forum that I use to express my concerns, what I'm watching. Right now, I think the best forecast is one for rain. And yesterday, all the models had this going towards the south like this. Today, they started trending more towards the northeast, especially the GFS. But I'm going to stick with the European because it's got a pretty consistent look that it's going all the way towards the east. Now, the problem, the thing is, it's cold enough in the upper levels of the atmosphere for it to produce snow, but the problem is the surface temperatures. They're going to be too warm. That's why you got to have a track just right, and it helps to come in at night. So this is a very cold pocket of air aloft. Now I'll show you the track of this. I want it to go further south. That's Monday morning, and it's over Oklahoma. This is a very potent area of low pressure aloft. And notice how this, by Monday afternoon, the 15th at noon, is over eastern Oklahoma. And then it shifts towards the northern half of the state late Monday and into Tuesday. Notice how it goes almost due east. The GFS, if I remember correctly, takes it this way. Now let me show you something here. Now these are the precipitation fields. And again, this is showing you the amount of precipitation over the previous 6 hours. So let's go on out here to, here's Monday at noon. Not favorable timing. Now let me show you exactly what you're looking at. Again, this is the amount of precipitation over the previous 6 hours. You see this 540 line towards the north? That's a thickness line, and basically all that's telling you is where the rain snow line. Notice how there's 546, and see how that kind of collapses into where that upper low is. Remember, this is at noon on Monday. You notice how this thickness line collapses into it. I think what's possible is that as we get closer to this event, you're going to see a separate and closed 540 thickness line that will develop wherever the track and just north of that track, wherever that's going to take place. So I think you're going to see the models start to pick up on the intensity of the cold air aloft, and it's going to show a pocket of 540, a closed circle, I think, in future model runs. I'm saying that's a possibility. Now, so that means, okay, it looks like the conditions aloft are favorable for some snow. But again, I can't stress it enough. It's the surface temperatures in these situations that are the hardest to get down to a temperature where it would be conducive enough to produce any frozen precipitation. That's why I think the best forecast at this point in time is one for rain and thunderstorms. Notice this is late in the day on Monday. Again, not favorable timing. Maybe Monday night if it slows down a little bit. But the 546 thickness line is now in northern Arkansas. And it cuts through here. Like I said, I think over time you're going to see a closed area of 540 thickness right over where that track of that low, and it tries to fill in. And you notice how that 546, see how it's closed off and it starts to move away? So that's the area to watch. What we want is, let me go back here to this. We want that upper low. If you want snow, like I do, you want this to track down into here, down into this corridor. Northeast Texas, northern Louisiana, and southern Arkansas, and that corridor, that's where you want it. This is too far north. And like I said, this is Tuesday, December the 9th. I think by the time we get to late this week and this weekend, I think the models are going to start to really cool down those areas underneath, directly underneath this this area of low pressure aloft. So again, I'll just reiterate that the best forecast at this point in time, it's rain, thunderstorms. But there's always that, hey, what if this has happened? I've seen this before, and will there be enough cold air at the surface? So it's one of those things where all this area can be quite mild in 50s and 60s, and all of a sudden you just see a small pocket of 30s along and north of that closed upper low. So it's kind of like an island of cool and a sea of warmth, that sort of situation. So I'll keep you updated with it. Don't get your hopes up too much just yet. But I like to share with you the things that I'm looking at, and this storm system has kind of got me excited, probably because there hadn't been much lately, not since that cold snap in November. All right, thank you so much for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events.